Welcome to week 3 of Teaching and Training with Technology. The title of this week's work is Good Practices Encourages Active Learning. The design of our course this session is predicated on an understanding that presenting information through multiple modalities, such as web presentations, readings, and course notes, is only part of what makes a course successful. Students also have to engage with course content in an active manner, exploring its implications and making broader connections both within and outside a particular field of study. They also should have the opportunity to articulate their understanding of course content in both verbal and written form, putting into voice in writing thoughts and concepts that might only be partially formed. Students should have access to multiple audiences with whom they engage, audiences that both work collaboratively in developing community understanding of course materials and critically to test out new ideas. Students need to receive course content, and they need to use it in a variety of situations for transformative learning to take place. When I first started as a writing teacher many years ago, I was part of a generation of early adopters of process-based writing pedagogies. Writing process models all are based on the notion of active engagement with one writing and the writings of others. Writing was seen as a dynamic activity, and text evolved based on a writer's growing understanding of his or her topic and the feedback offered by multiple audiences. This was an instructional model that made a great deal of sense at the time, and it still does even today. But despite our fascination and commitment to process-based writing instruction, there were practical barriers that made it difficult for teachers and writers to put its principles into practice. At the time, personal computers wouldn't make their appearance for several more years, and we all wrote our texts on typewriters. When it came time to share our text with others, we relied on photocopying and even mimeographs. And even if we could find a way to duplicate and distribute our text easily, we still had the problem of physical artifacts, proximity, and time. Any editorial feedback had to be incorporated into a text by retyping the text, often at great labor and sometimes at great expense. One had to be present with one's audience to receive this feedback live, or one had to accept that there frequently would be an extended delay in receiving feedback if one's audience was not directly accessible. So while we early writing processors embraced a pedagogy, we found ourselves in a difficult situation. We had a vision of what could be possible, but the technology at the time prohibited us from realizing the potential of our pedagogies. It took the development and widespread adoption of personal computers and word processing for writing process pedagogy to really take off. While of course it was possible to use process approaches to writing pre-word processing by heavily marketing a text and even by physically cutting it apart and reordering its component parts, the practical results were limited and messy. It took technology to make process-based approaches to writing real. And I think that this is the main point that Tom and I want to make this session regarding our use of technology. We strongly believe that the computer and network technologies can enhance the teaching of any subject by broadening opportunities for active student engagement and collaboration. Students can rehearse different ideas and test them out with audiences who might range far outside of our classroom walls or even our classroom enrollments. Technologies enable us to bridge space and time, thus providing more substantial and extended engagement with course materials than ever was possible before. It is important to keep in mind that the utility of a specific technology is directly tied to its pedagogical content. That technology needs to be evaluated and selected based on how it might broaden active learning opportunities for our students. I look very much forward to working with you this week. Take care.